We have gone from the very old days when a name was good enough to identify you to larger societies where some form of identification, such as a driver's license or a passport, has been required to identify you. Similarly, machines have gone from having simple serial numbers or a barcode to sophisticated authentication as their identifier. In today's network society, authentication is required to authenticate you and to authenticate the machine that represents you. With the population explosion and machine explosion that we've talked about, the ubiquitous network requires very strong as well as very strong user as well as very strong machine-to-machine identification. The integrity of the system at large, whether it be a financial institution, medical institution, government agency, or any public infrastructure, depends on the identification of each and every machine and the ability to authenticate each other. Each machine represents either an individual or a group of individuals. And if the integrity of the machine is violated, the integrity of the person or people it represents is violated, hence affecting quality of life. Here's an example from an FBI investigation into counterfeit routers with measurable quality of life impacts. First, the impact to your business. The counterfeit router boards cost $234, and the genuine router board cost $1,375. In 2002, counterfeit router boards shut down an end user's network in Pittsburgh because the counterfeit boards were generating duplicate MAC addresses. And in 2004, a government agency conducted a network upgrade to its North American weather communication system. Guess what? It failed upon installation. So dependable also means secure. There are three basic dimensions of security: anti-cloning, usage control, and tracking. While each category has superb business benefits, just as I shared with you in the previous fall, keeping in line with our quality of life theme, let's review a medical example. Imagine a medical probe that's designed to be used once per patient. The anti-cloning feature ensures that a fake probe is not being used on the patient. The usage control ensures the probe is not used on multiple patients. And the tracking element ensures proper calibration and maintenance of the equipment administrating the probe. So just as power management and quality and reliability have been part of our corporate philosophy and heritage, so has embedded security. We have been shipping secure MCUs for the past 25 years to the tune of 2.5 billion units. Our current run rate is at 300 million units per year. Let me repeat that, 300 million units per year of secure MCUs. Naturally, we have the economies of scale, expertise, and leading security certifications covering governmental, financial, and enterprise applications to enable the secure dependability of quality of life. When you look back at the example I showed you from the FBI investigation, after those counterfeit boards were identified, we went in and enabled this major customer with a very affordable solution so that no one can counterfeit their boards. The world does count on Renesas when it comes to microcontrollers. With 21% global market share, we lead our competition by a margin of almost 2 to 1. And we're number 1 or number 2 in every region of the world, and we're number 1 and number 2 in every major application. As Jack Welch said, if you're not number 1 or number 2 in your markets, then it's time to get out. And the reason we're number 1 or number 2 in so many major applications is because of our total system solution mentality. From the beginning, we planned for reference designs, middleware, device drivers, sample code, application code, app notes, and everything in between to enable your success. The 21% market share I just shared with you represented both ROM and flash-based microcontroller shipments. When we look at just flash-based shipments, which is a great indicator of today and tomorrow, we have an even bigger share at 26% market share. The engine behind what has been fueling this leadership position is based on our CISC and RISC family of products covering 8-bit to 32-bit architectures. And moving forward, as I mentioned earlier, we're introducing the world's leading CISC microcontroller architecture based on our 90 nanometer RX core that will go up to 200 megahertz with an amazing 500 microamps per megahertz power consumption, a combination that's second to none. You can count on Renesas. I want to put these four fundamental vectors back into perspective. Designing systems with power consumption considerations is at the forefront of every one of your minds. Designing systems that are easy and intuitive to use, such as a screwdriver, is on the minds of every designer. You know, when I visit you, so often I hear we want to design an iPhone-like user interface. While the iPhone has received the most deserving credit, like I mentioned earlier, so many other industries are beginning to adopt human-machine interfaces. And you know, these HMI solutions are enabling combinations of solutions never thought of before. If you look at the iPhone example, it responds to motion using a built-in accelerometer. So what this has enabled, it's enabled a whole slew of new applications to be added to the old PDA phone category. That's what I mean. Designing systems that are dependable is also on the mind of every designer. The greater liability that exists with machines that break down or malfunction has become so costly that no one can afford to have a cheap product anymore. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share with you our enabling technologies. Truthfully, we have put our hearts into this first developers conference. From the beginning, we wanted to give you a boutique experience versus a conventional style experience. We established a concierge service, and many of you have already been reached by our local field application engineers to ensure we gather and record what your needs are. With over 80 lectures, labs, and panels, we hope and expect you'll take away some valuable nuggets and broken myths that will make a difference in your daily design lives and ultimately affecting quality of life. I'm personally very excited about what we have prepared, and at this point, I think you should get up and go and grab a good seat at your first lecture. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.